Hi, I'm Francesca Sanders, the founder of Discover Your Path College and Career Readiness. I'm extremely excited. I have Robert Lahalika here, the CEO and founder of Life Above the Ball and the #1 athletic director in Houston. And I'm excited to interview him today, talking about his career path.
#1 athletic, huh?
The #1 athletic director. I'm excited to interview him today regarding his career path and how did he get to where he is today. So thank you, Robert, for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a cool guy.
Okay.
Grew up in Houston. Obviously, A-League Fort Bend. Went to Louisiana to go to school. Studied, it's called Health and Human Performance now, but exercise science, kinesiologies, they're all under the same blanket. But ultimately, I've kept myself in the athletic realm, in the athletic world, and from that, I'm ultimately an athletic director. So, like you said, the #1
athletic director in Houston.
Yeah.
So let's go back to after high school. Well, when you were in high school, where did you see yourself going?
Actually, I wanted to become a mechanic.
Really?
Yeah.
A mechanic. What kind of mechanic?
On cars.
On cars.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love cars. My whole life I've loved cars, but my mom taught me out of it. For her own personal, you know how generations are. I think it was more of a thing of I don't want people to see me as raising a mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole idea. So, yeah, I wanted to become a mechanic, but my mom taught me out of it. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just stick to what I know and kind of go down a path. So I went down the path of trying to become basically a physical therapist, and I wanted to do that because I had a lot of injuries, and I got to see my physical therapist work. So I kind of wanted to. I felt like it was a cool job, not too stressful, but yeah.
So you said you had a lot of injuries. So did you play a sport or anything?
Yeah. I played basketball. I was forced to run cross country. That's just because all basketball coaches are generally the cross country coach. And earlier I was actually I played soccer first and football. So pretty much played all sports, but basketball was the one that I stuck with the most.
Okay, so playing basketball and going into your senior year, when it was time for you to graduate, was that a sport that you wanted to, I guess, pursue as going into college, or did you even want to play that?
Yeah. I always had dreams of being a professional basketball player. Always wanted to get to college on a scholarship, all that good jazz. But honestly, I had a greater love for cars. A lot of people don't know that, though. A lot of people don't know that I've always loved cars more than my passion is cars.
And a lot of people look down on people who like the mechanics or that industry in general, but it's so many other career paths you can take with mechanic.
Yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton of career paths. You just talking about being a mechanic. Generally I like street cars, but you can be like a diesel mechanic and work for the military, or you can be a mechanic and work on 18-wheelers, but I was strictly street cars and stuff like that.
Okay, because I know that the local community colleges and you can get certificates or different trades off working with being a mechanic in that field. So that's a good thing. That's your passion. That's something that you love to do. Knowing you didn't go that route, that was still something that you can still do today if you decide that you want to go back.
Before I die, I'm gonna become a mechanic.
Okay.
Sure. That's my #1 passion. It's gonna happen.
Okay, so going back to you going to high school, finishing high school, what was your dream for yourself?
When you're a teenager, especially growing up in the community that we grew up in, I felt like I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be a millionaire, but I didn't really have an actual person telling me take this path or take these paths. So you kind of had to figure it out all on your own.
Okay.
And so ultimately, I did not have anybody telling me do this, do that, do this, do that, and you'll get here.
Mm-hmm.
So physical therapy was just my whole thing at that point when I was told, nah, you shouldn't be a mechanic. Don't go to, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to just go play basketball and try to focus on getting myself to become a physical therapist.
Okay.
That was just
And what school did you decide to go to when you were looking into becoming a physical therapist? Did you look into, because when we're in school,
mm-hmm.
teachers that's not a career choice that teachers or principals or administration would tell us to go in. So what school did you select and how did you select that field of going into physical therapy?
Well, I knew I had to get a bachelor's, so I was just looking at schools that would kind of work with me as far as being an athlete.
Okay.
And trying to pursue the bachelor's for physical therapy school. So first I ultimately went to Cypher College, which is a junior college. That was just straight prerequisites. There was nothing, I didn't have to do too much planning. You just pretty much get your associates and get out of there. But once I got done with that, I was trying to get to a 4-year school, which ended up being McNeese. And McNeese, I ended up going there because Coach Peavy, my high school coach, was friends with the coach that was there, Coach Markham. So I kind of like shopped around or whatever and was trying to see like which school that I want to go to. I was trying to think about PV, TSU, schools not too far from home, but not too close.
Not too
You
close.
gotta,
that you're able to get home in a day.
Yeah. So obviously it wasn't TSU and PV because that's too close. So I ended up going to McNeese. But when I was there and I was doing my basically they're called H&HP classes now. I wanted to ultimately go to Texas Women, which is where I would have done my physical therapy program at. That didn't end up happening. Once I graduated, I was like, it's time for me to start working. So I didn't end up getting my physical therapy degree or whatever.
So you started off at the junior college. What made you go that route and not going to a 4-year institution first?
I wanted to mature as a player and as a student. So I went to Cypher College. Same situation. It's ultimately in Cyprus, about an hour away from where I lived in Till Run. And basically, I got to mature. It was kind of like a soft introduction to college basketball. Okay. Still played great talent. We played Bland, St. Jack, we played all Palo Alto, a lot of good schools, but it wasn't obviously on the D1 level. So we played top talent, and I got to grow as a player, but also I felt like my whole high school career, I felt like I breezed through all my classes.
Wow.
So, and I never studied. So I knew that from what people told me. I was like, yeah, I know it's not going to be like that. So I didn't want to just jump into something without kind of like getting my feet wet. So that was a good little transition for me. And, I didn't have an issue when I ended up going to McNeese.
Okay, so how does that work with NCAA when it comes down to your eligibility of playing? Like when you decided to go to a junior college, most people think you have to go to there for a year if you're a big basketball player, or is that route okay being an athlete playing in the sport, going to JUCO first?
There's nothing wrong with going JUCO. Majority of junior college players are Division I players. They just don't have the grades, or there's some situation that keeps them from becoming Division I. But a lot of them can play Division I the freshman year that they're in a JUCO. It's just that for whatever reason, so that stigma that junior college is not all that, and you have bad junior colleges, but you also have bad Division I schools that I'm sure the top 20 JUCOs can stick with. So ultimately, that's just kind of like a naive way of thinking of things. That junior college is just terrible. It's not. The competition is on every level. It's just that the bottom 20 of every level is the bottom 20 of every level.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna be bad regardless. But I would recommend if you're not for sure I'd say top 20 in your state.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say top 20. I could probably give a little top 60. If you're not top 60 in your state and you're not getting a lot of publicity and notoriety, there's nothing wrong with going JUCO.
Okay. So what was the recruitment process? Because I know that, do recruiters still come out there when you're ready to transfer to the 4-year, which was McNeese University? What was that recruitment process looking like for you?
Yeah, they'll still come. They'll go to your games. It's the same type of courting that they would do a top high school player. It's just there's a little more rules with junior college players as far as like communication and all that. But the courting process is the same. You will get the same communication at certain times of the year that a high school player will get.
Okay. All right. So going to McNeese University, which is in Louisiana, and making that transition, you didn't want to be too far away from home. So when we talk about students that's going out of state, one of the big things that we worry about is out of state fees. With you, did you play at McNeese?
I walked on, and it was a sweet deal, man. I'm just a hustler by nature.
Okay. So how did that? What was that process?
All right. So the first thing I did as I guess you could say hustler is I found this scholarship called the Access Award.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the Access Award, you have to find it. They're not gonna just market it and put it all on bulletins. You have to find it. I just went on the website.
Okay. Was it the school website or was
the school website? Yeah,
okay.
The school website. I went on the website and it said if you are out of state and you make a certain GPA and you apply for this award. No essay, no nothing. If you apply for this award and you're out of state and you make this certain GPA, we'll give you this much towards your tuition every semester.
Okay.
So with that award, it waived like $3,500 every semester. So I was in state. I was below in state. Like if you got a Louisiana kid and you got me, I was paying less than them before, they like if they get all their classes and I get all my classes, I was paying less than them.
Okay, so making sure scholarships was important to you was one of the main reasons why you were able to go out of state and be able to afford.
Yeah, that was the first thing. But the second thing was that I walked on and up front what they told me is that you need to pay your fees for a year and then we'll pick up. So I was like, okay, I'll play, but I'd say 2 weeks later, I was like, man, look, I just came from junior college.
Okay.
First year I averaged 24 points. Second year I averaged 22 points against notable schools. Okay, gave them the film and everything, and they were telling me that, so I kind of felt like slighted. I felt slighted. So what I did after that is I went straight over to women's basketball, and I said, look, I want to coach. I told them I want to coach because I knew that as a student assistant coach or manager, they give you like a stipend.
Okay.
So I got those fees waived from the Access Award, and then I got the stipend. So it ended up being a situation where the stipend got me, it was like $700 a month. And I was well over, like, I was basically being paid to go to school, basically.
Okay.
With the awards, the way they stacked up, I was definitely...
They were able to pay for everything.
Well, it cleared, it more than cleared the tuition. Yeah, it more than cleared the tuition. Yeah, I didn't have a balance, but I also was getting the monthly stipend.
Okay, so being a student athlete and being a student, what made you go into the exercise science? And what is exercise science for those who don't know?
Exercise science is like it's like human movement.
Okay.
Bodily movement. It's in regards to fitness. So anything that's related to fitness, all that good stuff is all under the umbrella of exercise science.
What classes did you have to take when it came to exercise
A&P, that's the most notable. Anybody, A&P was a monster.
Okay.
Okay, so you got biology.
What's A&P?
Anatomy and physiology.
Okay.
Nurses take it. I was in there with nurses and people that wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
doctors. So A&P, everybody knows A&P. Kines is definitely one of the main ones that you have to take because kinesiology is that exact thing,
Mm-hmm.
bodily movement and all that. And then you had to take stat, a lot of math and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately in exercise science, the calculations and stuff like that, you have to make workouts. Like if you get into like training folks, or if you get into like sports physiology,
Mm-hmm.
where like ESPN, they have like where they break down like how fast the player is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they'll say like, oh, they're faster than like a cheetah before 40 yards. Like they're the same, like they break stuff down, so you have to take a lot of math to be able to do that.
To do exercise science. Okay. What type of careers can you get within the field of exercise science?
So yeah, you can be a trainer, work people out, stuff like that. Then like I said, once you get to like sports physiology, you do have to take a little bit more classes to get to sports physiology. Exercise science can be a prerequisite to becoming a physical therapist.
Okay.
So stuff like that. Those are even occupational therapy and all that, they're all after the exercise science classes and prereqs.
So with you,
it just depends on where you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
With you going into physical therapy, getting your undergrad in exercise science, do you have to go back to school for a higher degree to be physical therapy?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you need to get?
At the time, they were saying masters, but
Okay.
I believe now it could be doctorates or whatever. It really depends on the institution that's hiring you, but at the time it was definitely had to get a master's. So I definitely was not going to. Okay, I don't have a problem with school, but I wasn't just not passionate about school. Like,
To continue.
I'm not one of those people that are like I hate school because
Mm-hmm.
I never hated school. I understood like
What you needed
education
to
is
do.
important and all that.
Okay.
And there's a lot of classes that I genuinely appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole long day and all that, I just feel like the way school is set up, it doesn't cater to like scheduling and all that. Like it doesn't take that long to get information. I feel like it could be more efficient. So, why you smiling?
So
Education reform. We can talk about education.
No, we're fine. No, we're fine.
I can go down that route.
I know you can. All right, so my next question, I don't even know what I was going to ask you. My next question for you, give me a life balance, I guess an athlete and a student life balance. How does that look? And how are athletes, I guess I want to say, how can they balance of being a student athlete and also a classroom student?
That's a good question. Balancing being a student and athlete. The first thing is there is no balance. You're a student on paper, but your athlete side takes over your whole day, your whole week.
Okay.
There is no balance. You have to find a way to overachieve as a student with limited time, because the athletic side is a side that's actually getting the bills paid. Like it's getting your scholarship and all that. So you have to be able to perform in the classroom, even though you might not. Like there was one point in time, junior college, where we had a road swing, and you might not see your teachers for like 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
But you still gotta perform. So there's really no balance. You have to. I think the number one thing that I can say is that you have to be mentally tough. You have to. It's kind of like just being a professional in any job. You gotta work overtime. You have to work long hours, and you gotta be okay with that. If you don't have that in you to be okay with that, then you won't be able to make it. I don't believe. You know, there's a lot of people that get burnt out. You know, and then also it does depend on your coaching staff.
Having the dream to go to the NBA and not being able to make it to the NBA, how was you able to, I guess, direct your path in another way? What did that look like?
I made it to the NBA.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Explain.
I made it to the NBA as a contract coach.
Okay.
Worked with NBA Fit, helped out with NBA Cares. And that's the thing that a lot of young adults don't understand is that making it to the NBA doesn't mean that you have to make it to the NBA only as a player.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So not as a player, but the importance of still working within that field.
For sure.
So
I mean, the players get paid the most outside of the owners.
All right.
Okay, and some coaches make good salaries, but you know, majority of the good players, they get paid way more than all the coaches. But if you're trying to get to the NBA for the money, then you're tripping, because NBA players don't make close to what a tech giant makes, or you know, oil and gas giant. You know, the top NBA players don't make anything close to the top people in oil and gas and tech and all that. So if money's the motive, NBA is not you shouldn't be trying to get to the NBA for the money. It should be because you're trying to make do for a dream that maybe you just wanted to get to the highest level of basketball.
Okay.
But if it's for money, that's the wrong route.
So how did you know that you want to stay in the basketball field or the arena of?
I did not want to. I don't want to.
Okay.
Basketball calls me, actually. I've tried leaving basketball several times, but.
So do you feel like basketball is your purpose?
I feel like mentorship is my purpose. Basketball is the vehicle, but mentorship, you know, changing things within my community, providing information. That's my purpose, but I can't get to some people without hanging basketball over their head. A lot of people.
Why is that?
Because my community likes to be entertained. Okay? We like to be entertained. And information being cut and dry is not entertaining, and they won't listen to me.
So how do you, being that our environment, our community likes to be entertained, how do you connect with our youth?
You know, I connect through, for sure, just through basketball. You know, I connect with their parents. Their parents are old enough to kind of get the messages without it being through basketball. A lot of people contact me on Instagram, Facebook. I don't really use Twitter that much, but they contact me some through email or text, just letting me know that they hear what I'm saying, and they're going to show their kids the videos and all that good stuff. But ultimately, for the youth, I have to use. I'm not a rapper, or I'm not an actor, so I can't use that vehicle, because that's another vehicle that will get them. But yeah, basketball's my thing.
Okay, so how did you know that this was the route after college?
I'm not a drug dealer either, so.
How did you know that this was the route for you after graduating college? Because you said you wanted to go in physical therapy. So how did you know that mentorship was the route, or working with a student athlete was the route for you? You stated earlier that you were an assistant coach.
Yeah, I always was a mentor. People used to call me their voice of reason. I used to, have conversations with people. Yeah, for sure. That's actually why years ago I started my social media as Rob Reason. I don't know if you remember that. That's old. That takes it way back. And then I changed it. I was like, yeah, let me just use my regular name. But I kept Reason, and so that's the reason why my Instagram is Reason Camp.
learn something new every day.
It's yeah. So I've been mentoring all my life. It's just in my adult life, I said, you know what, I really don't like working for people. Let me try to start my own thing. Let me start my nonprofit and all that. So ultimately, it was Showcase Houston. Then it changed to Showcase National because of ambitions of mentoring across America. But
so what is entrepreneurship and why is it important to you?
What is entrepreneurship? Taking an idea with your own resources and time, and molding it and growing it to become either a service or a product that you can sell without like someone. Ultimately, yeah, you could get someone backing you and investors, but you're creating an idea from your own life, your own head, turning it into a service or a product, and then selling it. So that's entrepreneurship to me. And what was the follow-up question?
And what does it mean to you?
Oh, yeah, that's what it means.
You answered it. All right. So, today, you are a CEO of Life Above the Ball. Can you tell me?
I'm actually the janitor, too, though.
Oh, the janitor. Okay.
I'm a CEO, the janitor. I send emails out.
That's part of the...
No, I'm not all that, but...
You are, because you're all hands on deck when it comes down to your personal brand and your business.
Yeah, I have people that help me out and the contractors and all that, but at the end of the day, I'm the CEO, but if I have to, I can be the janitor too.
Right, because some people think when they start a business that they can delegate, but they don't think they need to be hands-on.
Well, you need money to delegate.
Well, some people think you
can't delegate and you don't have the resources or the team to. You got to build a team and a system.
Okay.
You need to build a system and a team, and that stuff's not free.
It's not free. So tell me about your nonprofit and what is it?
Life Above the Ball basically is a mentorship through sports.
Okay.
I'm trying to tap into different sports, but I'm gonna use other personnel to tap into different sports. But ultimately, I'm starting with what I know is basketball, and the mentorship piece is teaching them financial literacy, branding, public speaking, community leadership, and recently I added investing, and the one that I know most is real estate. So I'm gonna put that in there.
Awesome. So how is it important that what you have aligned yourself with to become, I guess, your organization? How important is you volunteering and making that impact on your business?
Man, the alignment of different organizations or stuff like that, it definitely serves as a education piece.
Okay.
Because when you align yourself with a business that's already been doing it, you learn from other businesses. But at the same time, it becomes a credibility piece also, because now you're, like, I'm aligned, I'm partners with 97.9,
okay,
ABC 13, Li Ning, which is a Chinese sports apparel brand, are sponsors, and they've been long-time sponsors. They're going on the third year where they've sponsored me and all my events. And so that's just part of it. When you align yourself with the right people and they see that your vision is your vision and your narrative is genuine, they definitely support what you do and they help out. So.
How important is volunteering?
Volunteering is very important. You got to be able to have feet on the ground with different people, different demographics, and be able to see where you can help people the most. So volunteering to me is very important because I'm able to get myself in front of people and understand like their problems, and from their problems, a lot of time they can tell you the solution. They just can't. Like when I go talk, like right now, I'm trying to work with people that are in CPS and stuff like that. When you talk to them, they know the problem.
Okay.
And they actually have already thought through the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they don't have the means to fix it.
Okay.
They're in some way at times oppressed. They need somebody else that can talk to like a big company to come in there and say, all right, let's change this. Or somebody that can say, all right, I'm gonna use my influence.
Any advice you want to give to any student that want to go on a career path that you chose for yourself?
I would tell them to spend a lot of time educating themselves non-traditionally. So, educating yourself on how to run a nonprofit.
Okay.
Like you don't have to get to college to know how to run a nonprofit. You just need to understand nonprofits. You need to educate yourself on that. And then I would also I would tell them to educate themselves on business. That may need a business degree or may not. I don't have a business degree, but there's value in action. Getting into a business and making like it, having some hiccups, some falls or whatever, messing up. When I first started my business, my first year, I lost $7,000. $7,000 was what I put into the business, and the return was like I made like $1,000. So I was like at $6,000, negative $6,000. But immediately after the first events, I started getting notoriety from like media, media outlets. And then I thought to myself, like I had to take a step back, and I told myself, I said, well, that was just the cost of like getting yourself known. That's just like awareness. And from that media, I began some partnerships and all that. So it wasn't really a $6,000 loss. I wouldn't say that. In the moment, I felt like I lost $6,000. It was like, I'm about to quit. But if I would have quit, I wouldn't have had anything that I got within the 4 years after that. So, you have to just go and do it. I don't want to get into the Nike slogan, but you do have to just do it. You have to get into whatever you're trying to get into. Get your feet wet. Try to inform yourself as much as possible, but you gotta actually take some action steps
to do it. Awesome. Well, I thank you for sitting down with me and impacting the world with your message.
Okay. The world, I like that.
But I really do appreciate it, and this will impact so many, I truly believe. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.